and coconut fiber to create
painting videos. Now these videos are really cool and they get quite a lot of views on YouTube. So me, L-Boy, I thought to myself, and I was like, why don't I make a painting video? And because it's my first time doing a painting video, I just thought I'd ease into it with like an easy-ish model, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I kinda lied about the whole easing into it thing. But that doesn't matter, because in today's video, I'm going to be painting up this Imperial Fortress. When preparing to paint for a model this size, usually the person is going to be petrified. They won't have a clue where to start, they won't know what paints to use, they don't know what sprays to use, they're just petrified. But with this model, I'm going to be keeping my palette pretty small, so I'm going to run through it with you now. So starting with the sprays, I'm going to be using Citadel Chaos Black, Sea Grey, Grey, Brass, Aluminium, and Gunmetal. But I still needed to buy Black, Sea Grey, Grey and Gunmetal. So what better shop to buy those sprays from than Boys? So all the sprays have been acquired and now it was time to actually paint this model. So I set everything up on my dining room table and I had all the pieces out because this model was luckily modular, so all of the pieces were separate and it was easier to paint that way. So I started this step by undercoating the entire model in Citadel Chaos Black. Even after this tiny step, the model already looked a little bit better as all the different parts were the same colour now. So this is the outcome of the fortress after the spraying, and I've got to say at this point I was super happy with how everything was going. Stage 1 and 2 was a breeze, it was very easy. I prepared the paints and the sprays, and then for stage 2 of course, I sprayed the model, which is quite a simple thing to do. But now, for me to actually progress onto the other stages, I needed some help. And who better to ask for help than this person, my 13-year-old sister. But despite her age, my sister is very good at art and she really likes painting. So I thought she might even enjoy this sort of painting. So yeah, she's gonna give it a shot. So onto the washing stage. Now this is going to be the first stage where I actually use a paintbrush, and it's also the stage that people are most afraid of as they think it's going to ruin the model. But the washing stage is one of the most important stages when painting a model like this, because it's going to bring out all the tiny little details, all the big details, basically just bringing the whole model to life. Now you can see us actually getting to work on this model, literally just washing the entire model. We're not progressing to any other stages yet until all of the other pieces have been washed. Right now my sister is painting one of the 2 towers that are going to go either side of the fortress walls, and I am painting the main entrance area with the huge doors. So my sister has now worked her way onto the second tower block, and I'm just working my way through the side area and the back part. Now at this point, I asked my sister if she found it boring, because of course, painting a model like this, especially just washing it, can be very long-winded and quite boring. But she was listening to music at the time, so I expected she was having a good time and she was enjoying it, which I was happy about. So now we'd hit the 1 hour and 30 minute mark, and this is what we'd done in that time. This time of course included the spraying, but up to this point my sister had finished washing these 2 tower blocks, which is great.
couple of minutes after, I ended up finishing the main entrance part and I moved on to my next piece. So now we both started working on our next parts, and they do actually look very similar to each other, but they are actually different. My sister is washing 1 out of 2 of the blocks that go closer to the entrance area, which make the fortress walls turn on an angle. But with mine are right on the end of the fortress walls. The timer was getting very close to that 2-hour mark, and at this point I was just working my way through the second part that goes on the back. So now my sister moved on to her second part, and I moved on to the parts that will go on top of each individual tower. So now we were at the 2-hour and 10-minute mark, and at this point I was just touching up on certain stuff, like touching up on the doors, which my sister had already washed, and my sister was washing some of the tower parts, which my dad had already started painting off camera, which was a lot of help. And yeah, that's basically it for the washing stage. My sister is just finishing up on this tower, and you can see my dad on the right just wiping down my work area so that he can put my next part on, because the next part is dry brushing. So the dry brushing stage is basically the same as the washing stage, just very long-winded because of how big the model is. Either way, this is quite an easy stage. You're literally going over the model with a tiny bit of paint with a pretty fat brush. But this is, once again, something a lot of people are afraid of doing because they think they're going to ruin their model. But this is such an important thing to be doing, as it's going to bring out even more detail on this model. So now that we both finished those 2 parts, my sister moved on to the main entrance area, and I moved on to the 2 smaller parts. This part wasn't an actual stage, but we did eat, because of course all that painting, you're going to burn so much calories. We ate the food and got straight back on to the painting. So I finished the 2 small parts, so I moved on to the even smaller parts, whilst my sister still worked on the really big part, the entrance. So my sister finished the entrance, and that is where we hit the 3-hour and 20-minute mark. So at this point there wasn't really much left for the dry brushing, because my tactic was that my sister could do the bigger parts and I'd just bang out the smaller parts while she does that. And then we hit the 3-hour and 30-minute mark, and at this point there's hardly anything left to dry brush. We're literally almost done. And there we go, 3 hours, 31 minutes. That is how long it took us to basically get this fortress to a battle-ready standard if you were to use it as scenery on a tabletop. But yeah, we will be adding to this. This is just all we're doing for today's video. There will be turrets to add. There'll be so much more. And you guys can put suggestions in the comments of what I should add to this fortress, because it's such a big model and you literally can't go wrong. So that is it, guys. That is part 1 done. So stay tuned for other stuff to be added to it. So yeah, if you did enjoy today's video, don't forget to leave a like. And if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye.